Creative Health Pod.
Hi, good morning. Welcome, everybody.
Today's topic is going to be on sugar. I'm Jennifer with Greenleaf Wellness. I'm in Central Illinois, and today with us we have my partner in health, um, Shanna, and you're all the way from.
I'm calling from Lake Havasu City, Arizona, near the West Coast, and I am Inspire Wellness for You and a Creative Health Coach as well. And we're very excited to talk about sugar.
Yes, even though it's sweet on the lips, it's not very nice to the hips. So we're going to talk about some stuff today on sugar. Talk about some ways of crowding out your cravings for sugar. But yeah, so let's get started. So,
Yeah.
Shauna, what is your hang up on sugar?
I just it causes so many things. It causes inflammation, which can lead to cancer cells growing. It actually is the main cause for insulin resistance. It causes hormonal imbalances, dry skin. It floods the liver, puts the liver in overdrive. It's the leading cause of fatty liver, non alcoholic fatty liver disease. It's very fat building, packing on the pounds, and it destroys your immune system, causes us to age faster. I know it causes major problems with behavior issues in children. It increases stress levels, and it just botches up the endocrine system. There's zero vitamins and zero minerals coming from sugar and sucrose. And where do we begin? There's just so much we want to share.
Yes, I know a lot of times I take my clients on a grocery store tour, and I always stress the fact that the high fructose corn syrup and just sugar is in everything, and really zoning in on how to read the labels and do the calculations to make sure they're getting the right amount and to get rid of the excess. I do find a lot of my clients have a hard time getting rid of sugar, so I always work with them on, okay, when are you craving it? Why are you wanting it? It's like trigger points as to, are you under stress? And then really trying to get them to go the other direction of putting like an alternative like honey in there or stevia, so they're not getting the sugar alcohols as well. So yeah, it's a huge thing for them to comprehend, I think, and grasp that it's in all the food. And that it's
I
really
agree.
important to find natural and cook at home more. So the added sugars are definitely taking toll on their health as well. So,
Absolutely. Just it's so sad. We think we're eating healthy and we're buying, a natural cereal and a healthy granola bar and a yogurt parfait and, dried fruit. And at the end of the day, before you realize it, everything just had so much extra sugar. And of course, that's going to increase your sugar cravings. And
yeah.
so it's
I know you said
tough.
that it's very tough. I always tell people too, like, say they have a cold or sinus infection, try and stay off the sugar because it kind of feeds into that infection. And they're like,
Yeah.
what? It's bringing a whole awareness that sugar is just not good for you. So,
No.
but yeah, even like your carbohydrates, I'm like, they turn into sugar. So let's keep the count, at a minimal.
Yeah, pay
So,
attention to
yeah,
it.
it's an eye opener for a lot of people. So,
I think what is important for the listeners is so many of us, they think sugar is bad and they're aware of this and they want to focus on having less of it. But a lot of people just think, well, I don't eat cake, donuts, and pastries and ice creams, and I don't have soda, so I'm okay. But really, it's just hidden in everything. And our sugar consumption, I think this started being incorporated in the modern diet in the 1500s. And once it started being included in diet, all people's health instantly declined. There's no positive coming from it. And realizing that it's in so much of the food and paying more attention to food labels is a good tip for the listeners. That way they can start to see, well, this yogurt has 6 grams of sugar in it and this yogurt has 28 grams of sugar. I'm going to buy the yogurt with lower sugar, or drinks, bars, fruit juices, just paying attention to it, you could really reduce your sugar quite a bit in a day.
Exactly. A lot of times, I don't think people realize the sugar count in the bread in itself. So I
Right.
always do like the squeeze test. I'm like, squeeze this for me, and they're like, oh, this is really soft. There's like nothing to it. I'm like, that's sugar, you know.
Yeah.
Let's go to more firmer with your whole grains and stuff, and really watch the sugar count on the packaging. So I think bread's really important to watch as well. So I mean, yeah, like you said, then everything. So it's an eye opener.
Well, Jen, I'm glad that you mentioned that about the bread too, because it's not just sugar. Just a side tip to everybody on the bread, the denser it is, the more quality of nutrients there are in the bread loaf itself. So if you grab a Wonder Bread and squeeze it to a pancake versus a sourdough or a rye bread or an ancient grain bread, it's going to be much denser, and that's always how you're going to know which is the best brand to choose.
Yes, I agree with that. You know, I was reading too, I think it was a Mercola article that he was saying back in the 1700s, the average person consumed, you know, like 4 pounds of sugar per year.
Yep.
And I was reading that he said in 2009, more than 50% of all Americans, you know, consume 1/2 pound of sugar per day.
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
150 pounds of sugar a year. I'm like,
Yeah.
wow. So it's an eye opener, and I know I really cut back on myself, being that I have PCOS. So the low carb, low sugar is huge for me. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, to have that much sugar and then our obesity rate is so high and a lot of people, it's contradicting where the diabetes is coming from, but if you look around us, everybody's struggling with it, and it's very sad. It's not, necessarily the individual's fault, and it's really not necessarily hereditary and gene factors. It's really the American diet in this country and food today, all the processed foods and additives, as we all know. But, one of the things that I really like to help guide clients with is letting them know how to reduce their sugar cravings. Once they start to look at the labels and see how they can consume less sugar in a day, less sugar in a week, overall build healthier habits, one of the quick and easy fixes, if the patient or client is able to do this, is to have a ton of fruit and then a ton of vegetables, and then mixing fruits and vegetables by day 3, and then by day 3 to 4 you really see a decrease in your cravings for it. And it's kind of like, as integrative health coaches, we love to crowd out, and so if we just kind of stuff our face with all these extra fruits and vegetables, it does dramatically. I've experienced it. I've seen good come from it, and I really believe that it's a way to dramatically decrease sugars. What's your opinion about that?
I think that's a good way. I know for me, what helped a lot was following the guidelines for the ketogenic diet for about 4 months. Because it's 5% carbs, it's zero sugars, which is really good. I don't view as a long term thing to do, but to get over your sugar cravings, I think that's a great way as well. And then incorporate some things back into your diet, and then before you know it, your cravings are gone, and you've got control over your food. So I think that's huge, and I think the fruits and vegetables, are another way of doing it too, because you don't feel like you're missing out on the brownie sugar and stuff like that because you're getting it from the natural fruits and vegetables.
Exactly. Now, including natural fats, egg yolks, cream, meat fats, butter, this is really important, believe it or not, to help reduce sugar cravings and stay full and satisfied as well.
Right.
Now, the other thing that I was actually just coming across was, it was saying that when you have added sugar in your diet, your satiety gets a little bit destroyed. So you're less satisfied, you're craving more, you want to eat more, and we may eat something super sweet and it's delicious and it's so good, but in the end, you're still hungry. You still want more. It's not like eating a full dinner with olive oil and kind of following the Mediterranean diet and just being satisfied with food at the end of the day and done and moving on to the next thing.
Right. I was reading somewhere too about the sugar alcohols.
Mhm.
And there's several of them, but only one or two your body actually can break down. And it was kind of talking about what you were just saying, how you still feel hungry and all these cravings, So that was an eye opener for me because people don't think about the added sugars.
No. It's I mean, it's tough. Like I said, people are on the go, grab and go. I mean, in a rush to get kids off to school and throwing some things in their bags. And so at that point, the best option is to not buy it, to not carry it in the house. And another tip to the listeners is before you're going to a birthday party or a wedding or event, eat something filling. Have a protein shake or eat an omelet or something full and fatty and healthy and filling. I can't express it enough that way. It'll tide them over better and it'll just help with the indulgence.
Drink more water and eat those avocados, right?
Absolutely. Yes. And everyone forgets avocados are a fruit, so it's very important to remember avocados and tomatoes to include them in your fruit basket.
Always. I always have avocados on hand and tomatoes.
Now, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, and my onion, antioxidants with my peppers.
Absolutely.
But yeah.
I love onions. The mineral nutrient content in onions, it's just amazing. They're a superfood in themselves, I think.
Yes. Can never go a meal without them.
Well, a lot of the drinks have sugar in them, but kombucha is a great alternative to getting that, it's not water, it's not an almond milk, it's not a, like a hot tea, but kombucha can really, supplement that sugar craving and tide you over to get through it. Now,
I'm going to have that in my fridge too. Good for the gut. I will say it's really good for your gut flora and just helping you stay regular and getting that stronger. So that's important too.
Absolutely. And I love the kombucha because you can have it in the morning or the evening. It's not like a green tea, you have to worry about it being decaf or not or a chamomile, then you're too relaxed in the morning. So kombucha, you can kind of just be good with it.
Exactly.
Now, what do you suggest for the listeners? Could you give us maybe 3 tips on how they can really pay attention to reducing their sugar?
I think it's being very mindful of how you're choosing your food. Number one, you want good quality. Watch your labels. I would say if you have the sweet tooth, maybe go with like a sweet potato or get some beet chips or do some hot water, a little bit of honey, just to get your sweetness. And just really be mindful of the grocery store.
Absolutely. That is the most important. I mean, they always say don't go to the grocery store hungry, and it's true. I mean, even just the choices you're going to make and the decisions you're going to make on, going to the sweeter side or sticking to more of a whole foods based grocery cart.
So I always, just be mindful and listen to your body too, because it will tell you what it's wanting if you've had too much, especially if you wean off the sugar. And just be mindful when you are going to eat again, because your body's going to have a reaction of, oh my gosh, what did I do? This was really good, but we don't want you to have guilt either. We want you to be comfortable with what you're eating, but just be very mindful.
I know for sure that I'll get a headache if I overdo it on the sugar, and my skin feels gross and I get a little cranky, and I did it to myself, but it's just a reminder rather than adding a Tylenol or wondering what's happening. I know because of being mindful that it's from the sugar, and so it's just really helpful. And if you see your kids, being a little more cranky, it's not their fault. They're not in control when it comes to that, and
exactly. I was one that had to have naps at 1:00 in the afternoon. I just get fatigued, a foggy head, couldn't think. And, when I started getting rid of the sugar, I noticed that I had more clarity, more energy. My thought process was like on spot. had more time to do the elliptical, go out for walks, and didn't need naps anymore. So it was very energizing, and the weight started falling off, and I felt great. You know, and you
Yeah,
build your confidence that way too. So um, it's just amazing what sugar can do to your body, and you don't
absolutely.
realize until you get rid of it. So,
Yeah. I know a
but yeah.
lot of people, they'll substitute the sugar in their coffee or their baked goods. And when it's digested, for example, the aspartame, it breaks down into methanol and formaldehyde, which are both poisons. So that can also cause headaches, seizures, brain cancer, nervous disorders. You can find all this information on Weston A. Price Foundation. And it's just one of those things. It's better to just stick to the whole food. Again, be mindful, have less of it, and really pay attention to how it makes you feel. And, if you feel better without it, there you go.
Exactly. And you'll sleep better at night too.
Oh my gosh, yeah, absolutely.
That's like a whole other topic right there. Our
Yeah,
listeners can keep channeling in on our podcast and hear all kinds of things about sleep. And we have a lot of things that we want to talk about. And we're excited to share. So,
yeah. I mean, a lot of the kids, I've heard of people, their kids are climbing on the counters and they're in the cabinets and they're just eating all day. And it's, but there's so much sugar in every item. And then, goodness gracious, you take them to a doctor and they're trained to diagnose them. And they don't know what's in your pantry, but they know how to fix a problem. And so a lot of kids are being misdiagnosed with ADHD. Of course, we hear this time and time again, but it's just important to consider what this is actually meaning. It's actually meaning that the kids are being given prescription medication for behavior issues that are being caused from not having a whole foods based diet. And however many times we've all heard that, 1,000 times over, it's very sad and it's important. And as time goes on, it clicks a little bit better, and we can pay more attention to our children that we love so much and try to help them through this and get them off sugar as well.
exactly. They might put up a resistance to that, but after time, I don't think there would be an issue because they're not going to know any different, especially if parents don't tell them.
Exactly. I mean, it's short based, like I said, 3 to 4 days. So
Yeah.
whether you're an adult or you're a parent getting your child off sugar, you have those 3 or 4 days. You might feel cranky, you might have a headache, you might just feel depressed even. But after that, you're going to come out of it. You're going to know you're feeling better, have that energy, and start that weight loss. And it's easier to make healthier decisions on what you're going to cook that week, what you're going to buy at the grocery store. And this is a big one. It's a big one.
It truly is. But the more people that we bring awareness to in these podcasts, the better we're going to be for helping them. And they're going to start seeing changes. And I think that's awesome. And I think if someone does have a child with ADHD or ADD and they are on medication, really think about that. How much sugar is my child getting? Because we all know if your kid's eating at the school, cafeteria food's processed food. And that in itself is going to take a toll, especially 5 days a week. And it's all frozen stuff. I worked in the school cafeteria for my kids, and I was shocked at the stuff that we were making.
Wow.
Which led me to want to look more into nutrition schools like IIN in New York and everything. And so it was just like, why are we serving, all this frozen stuff? Why can't we go more fresh? So that's a huge thing to consider. What is my kid eating at school? What am I putting in the school lunches? Is it added
Absolutely.
sugar? How much am I giving them? So just be really mindful when you're packing their lunches and stuff. So
Absolutely. And I don't want the listeners to get confused. I mean, I'm not a Pinterest mom. I'm not, doing all these crafts all day long. I don't really have time for that. And I know a lot of people don't. And so what ends up happening is I have to do grab and go food too sometimes. But fortunately, you can make hard boiled eggs. You could wash some grapes. The almond chocolate milk is a treat, not a daily food. The regular almond milks, yogurts, there's cut up carrots and celery, and there's a ton of grab and go foods, applesauce, no sugar added, extra cinnamon, which does counteract sugar from the day. And it's helpful, that way you at least get something in your kid's lunchbox that's not from the cafeteria.
Exactly. I'm probably guilty of giving my kid some sugar, but I am a very picky eater, so it's very difficult. But I might buy something, but my kids don't get that freely throughout the day.
I agree.
So it's very limited for them. No soda, maybe twice on the weekends. So, they were bad when we first made the rule, but they adapt.
Yeah.
So I'm just like explaining things to them. This sugar is bad for you.
I know.
You can't have it all the time. You're cranky. You're not getting your homework done. So just bringing that awareness to them. And they're getting older. Mine are 13 and 15 now. So they've kind of adapted to mom's food rules here at home. But I tell them when you're 18, you can go buy what you want.
Oh my gosh. And hopefully they'll make good decisions at that time. And
they will.
And we're all guilty of it. It's so nice to just turn this on and just be reminded, oh, today's Monday. I didn't get all the grocery shopping done yesterday. My kids are eating hot lunch at school today. I listened to this podcast, note to self, pack their lunch the next 3 days. Don't buy the soda. My kids don't even drink very much juice anymore. It's been so many years. But I agree. I have a picky eater as well, my middle daughter, and she's a sweetheart, but I get so scared with her, diet. And so I found this dinner winner plate online and I loved it so much. I did get it for her, and it's kind of got a start to finish and little pictures, and it's got different compartments for the food. And I kind of put her banana up front and her egg up front, and then an organic blueberry waffle, and that's helpful. Whatever you can do that way, it just makes the experience a little bit better.
Yes, I agree. So, but we're all learning. It's
exactly
always room for improvement for everybody, even the ones that you think are eating 100% healthy all the time.
Exactly.
So, but yeah.
And then, it's just what's child appropriate. All topics need to be explained to children of different ages and different ways. And I caught myself with this one because my oldest, he got a little worried about, he's an amazing eater. My oldest is not picky at all. He makes healthy choices, loves his fruits and his vegetables and meats and raw food and sauteed food, and he's a gourmet eater, which kind of gets me in trouble when we take him to restaurants. But where I was going with that is you don't want the kids to feel stressed either about, moms are over here, you do it, I do it. It's bad for you. It's not healthy. I care about you. I love you. I don't want you to, eat food that can make you sick, and diets changed over the years. But then we don't want them stressing about it either when they see their friend eating because maybe their parents, aren't able to pack them something differently or aren't educated in this area. And we just don't want to cause undue stress on the children either. So do you have any suggestions on what parents can share with their kids to, make them feel as normal as possible in the situation?
I think leading by example is huge. So I think if a parent is really zoning in on bettering their health and their options of food, and they're bringing it home and the kids resist it, if they just continue doing it, buying it, and weaning out maybe the things that their kids actually like that's not so good, replace it with a different alternative, and, just kind of introduce it in a positive way. But I'm huge on the whole, lead by example, especially in health. So, work out in front of them, talk about working out in front of them, just in conversation, but not feel like we could beat them upside the head to make them change or anything. And just, make it fun. They could also visit some farmers markets, especially if the kids are little, try to, educate them on why you're choosing farmers markets and better produce quality. So I think, whether we want to believe it or not, our kids do look up to us. And even if we have arguments with our kids, they're still eyeing us. So I think it's really important to keep the food talk positive, even if they're against it. So.
Absolutely. I love all of that. I love being active with the kids and getting outdoors. And I mean, being here in Havasu, unfortunately, we don't have a lot of resources as local farmers markets. But I'll tell you one thing, if we go to Phoenix or if we go to Las Vegas, there's a farmers market, there's Whole Foods, there's something going on. There's an orange grove or an apple picking or getting raw grass fed milk. There's just all kinds of different things to do to just show them, beyond the grocery store.
Exactly. Well, I know my 15-year-old to be, he was arguing with me about the mac and cheese. Because I was buying like the 49-cent box. I'm like, oh, I'm saving money. This is perfect. I did that for years. And it does taste good. But then I started going into the more organic with real cheese, and he wouldn't eat it. And I'm like, why are you wasting your food? He's like, this is nasty. And I explained to him, look, you like the 49-cent one because of all the sugar. It's 49 cents. This is like $2 something, The price is a huge difference from the quality, Gabe. And he's like, oh, okay. And so now he's like, where's the mac and cheese? And it has to be the organic. So I think the older they get, that's a little bit easier to talk to them about stuff.
Yeah.
But just always lead by example. And I just keep buying stuff.
Yeah. I don't want to be a copycat, and I am going to look this up to see who the source came from. That way I can share it with the listeners or on the webpage, because I heard the story and I loved it so much. And although I forgot where it came from, like I said, I'll figure that out. But a man said to his little girl, because she had lollipops and from a birthday party, and he said, well, if you had a bunny and the bunny had to eat very healthy green food, fresh food, to keep the bunny happy and healthy, what would you feed your bunny? Oh, yeah, Dad, I'll feed my bunny the happy, healthy food. Okay. And if your friend had given her bunny a lollipop, would you give your bunny a lollipop? And he said, no. The little girl said, no, I wouldn't give my bunny a lollipop. So then the daddy said, well, you're my bunny, and that's why I don't want to give you the lollipop. And I love that, and I've used it with my middle daughter because it's so hard. They get addicted to these sugars and they want more of them, and everyone else has them, and there's so many options, and it's a headache for the parents. It's terrible. And I just try to explain out of love and health and education.
Back before I became an integrative health coach, there was, I heard of this little girl that has never had McDonald's, doesn't get sugar. And I was like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? That's like the meal that kids love, I'm like, wow, you're depriving your kid. But, the more you research and the more you change your food, you start exercising and really taking care of yourself, you realize that you were the one that was giving your kids the wrong stuff.
Oh my gosh,
so
yeah.
You applaud the parents that do that, and it's just changing your outlook on your health and your food and everything, and it all makes sense that sugar is not good for you.
Yeah, exactly. And what moms and dads were buying our parents 80 years ago was mostly the right thing. It's just times have changed since then. And so, we get the generations that don't want to change, or they're stuck on something, or they're not sick, so it must be good for you. But times have changed, food has changed, and it's just important to avoid these extra sugars and learn how to deal with sugar cravings, learn what cravings are, learn how they sneak up on you and how they come. It's not just, ooh, I want a cupcake. It's just stuffing your face and not being satisfied with any of the choices. And then, most of the time, if you're overloaded on sugar, you don't want to cook a wonderful bell peppers and onions. You don't want to cook that. And then you don't. And time goes on, and then you got to pick yourself up and shake it off and get back on track.
Listeners, we're not saying that you can't have a cupcake and you can't have certain things. We don't want you to hear that from us. What we're saying is when you gain control over your food, the proper food, you can allow yourself to have something in a reward for achieving something, knowing that it's not going to keep you there.
Exactly.
because when you change your food to a healthier eating format, your cravings will diminish and you won't want the junk.
Exactly.
But when you do have a piece of cake or a brownie, or maybe a work picnic thing, knowing that, you've got control over your food and that one brownie or whatever you're eating is not going to set you off track from eating healthy.
Exactly. I was sharing with some clients the other day, just reminders, brush your teeth after you eat dinner, have yogurt and berries instead of cake or cookies or baked goods. And, of course, drink more water, even having herbal teas. Some people really like that dessert in the evening, but there's options, there's choices. It doesn't have to be, our dessert that we're used to, like in a restaurant menu. So,
we got Thanksgiving a week and a half away and Christmas coming up, and I know all the sweet treats are going to be handed out. And it's okay. Just be very mindful of your portions and don't overindulge, and you'll be fine. Especially if you are aware of what you're eating. You can always ask people that made it, what ingredients are in this? And you really think about the sugar. Do I want another piece of whatever it is because it's, got a lot of sugar in it? Just be mindful, and don't beat yourself up because, holidays are important to be with family and friends.
Absolutely.
We want you to relax, but just be very mindful of, your portions.
I mean, there's just so many good tips here and information and takeaways because, like I said, don't buy it at the grocery store. We all know there's going to be treats around and Thanksgiving and visiting friends and family and gifts. Just don't buy it. Don't have it in the house. And that way, when you are at an event, if you have a little something, that's okay. Get yourself back on track until the next trip. And a lot of family members love to bake with their kids. I know I do. But again, just trying to, you can actually add zucchini to chocolate cakes and cupcakes, use the natural sweeteners, maple syrup, raw honey, unfiltered molasses, coconut sugar is a little bit better of a choice than cane sugar. Just, and then use less. You don't have to put as much as the recipe requires, just the bare minimum that you need in order to have it taste sweet. And then you're still having the tradition, you're still enjoying doing this with your grandchildren, and you're teaching them how to just be mindful and make healthier choices.
Exactly.
Now, another thing that I wanted to share was the kids have parties at school, and the parents want to bring something, but we don't have to bring sugar or candy. There's miniature toys, miniature books, miniature crafts, even pretzels. They come in Christmas tree shapes and wreath shapes, and there's tons of other options that the kids will just love, and it'll be something new and creative and different and inspiring, and it doesn't need to be a bag of candy.
No, we can even give fruit.
Exactly.
Give them an orange, give them an apple, give them bananas.
Right.
Chocolate covered oranges, right?
Yeah.
Dark chocolate bouquet. Just make sure your number's high, not low on the dark chocolate, because you're going to get more added sugars and higher sugar content. So.
Yeah. Preferably over 70%. They come in 80%, 85%. You just got to look.
Oh, yep, I agree. So,
well, yeah. I hope this was helpful to everybody for the beginning of the week, especially the week before Thanksgiving, just to kind of attack this now.
Exactly. So we talked a lot about sugar. We gave you some suggestions on the cravings, how to get, rid of those. Mindful shopping, be a role model for your kids. Really pay attention to the school packed lunches, what's on the lunch menu from the school, and when in doubt, ask what are the ingredients and how much sugar and carbs does this consist of.
Exactly. And if anybody needs more information, they can call you or I at Greenleaf Wellness and Inspire Wellness for You, and we'd be happy to have another sugar talk with you. We can do it individually or in a group. We could do it with parents or include the children as well. And a lot of times we like to recreate an item, one of our favorites, and do it in just a healthier way, put a healthy twist on it, and that's a lot of fun. So feel free to call us or email us if you have any further questions.
Yes, we look forward to hearing from you.
Okay, well, Jen, it was so nice to talk with you.
You too.
All right, I'll talk to you soon.
Great.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.